This week, a new economic report confirmed what most Americans already believed to be true. Over the past 3 decades, the middle class has lost ground, while the wealthiest few have become even wealthier. In fact, the average income for the top 1% of Americans has risen almost 7 times faster than the income of the average middle-class family. And this has happened during a period where the cost of everything from healthcare to college has skyrocketed.
Well, Mr. Conn Hallinan, also joining us on the line from California. What are your thoughts about President Obama's acknowledgement of this situation?
Well, it's a little late. People have been saying this for a long time, and the policies of the administration have not really addressed what the basic problem of the basic economic crisis has been in terms of jobs and industry, etc. I think that the thing that I find interesting, because I'm someone who went through the period of the 60s with the civil rights movement, the anti-war movement, etc., is that there seems to have been some kind of tipping point in this country, and I don't have I can't point to a specific event. I think it's a kind of a series of events, but whatever it is that all of this sentiment, which has been out there for a long time, that the people are very upset about the growing disparity between rich and poor, and what's happening to working people in this country and jobs and all that kind of stuff. Something's happened here, and you're getting these occupations, not just in California, they're across the country. I mean, people have tended to focus on places like New York and Oakland and San Francisco, San Diego, maybe Los Angeles, but they're in Montana, they're in Vermont, they're in Maine, they're really across the country, and something's happened here where people have just had enough, so to speak. I don't know where it's going in the long run, but from my point of view, looking back at my particular history, I find it probably the single most hopeful thing that's happened in a very long time. And I think that efforts to shut it down result in exactly the opposite of what the authorities wanted. Just one little thing in San Francisco a couple of days ago, the mayor's office said, they were going to close down the Occupy demonstration in San Francisco because of health issues and this kind of stuff. The result was the next day, thousands of extra people showed up. They were not just young people; they were people who were working, locally there, and secretaries and people working in the financial district, etc., who came out because they agreed with the demonstrators and they did not want to see that occupation shut down. So I think at each point when the authorities have tried to sort of put the genie back into the bottle, the result is that you have a bigger genie and a bigger demonstration. And somewhere or other, this tipping point has happened, and I don't think we're going back to the way that it was before, regardless of what the future holds for us.
Mr. Hallinan, where does the anti-war sentiment stand in the Occupy movement? A few minutes ago, we saw on the bottom of our screens people in America asking and demanding for the withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan and Iraq. Tell us about that, and also very briefly, can you tell us about the longevity of this movement? Should the world get used to the Occupy movement?
Well, first to the first part of the question, which is that actually polls have shown for quite some time, for certainly the last year and a half, that a majority of people in the country felt that the Iraq war was a mistake, have been pressing for withdrawal from Afghanistan much quicker than the administration is considering doing so. So that the anti-war sentiment has kind of always been there. Nobody has specifically tapped it, and so now they're sort of tapping it. And when you consider the enormous amount of expenditure for military spending and the wars and various wars that we're we're fighting, which are not, by the way, just in Afghanistan and Iraq, but are also in Pakistan and Somalia and Uganda and other places as well. I think what people are doing is that they're saying, why are we expending this money when we have this crisis at home? As far as the longevity goes, I hate to get into making predictions, because generally you make a prediction and then the gods decide that they're going to do something different. I don't think this is going away, and the reason why I don't think it's going away is because the conditions are going to continue to fuel it. I mean, the fact of the matter is that there are 50 million people in this country without health care. There are officially 16 million people unemployed, but actually if you add half-time employment and that kind of thing to it, and people who stop looking for jobs, etc., it's probably closer to 22, 23, maybe even 24 million people. I exist in a state in California which has one of the worst unemployment rates in the country. That's not going away. Healthcare, lack of health care is not going away. The crisis in housing and the foreclosures is not going away. None of these things are going away. And so I don't see that when you talk about longevity, what you're talking about is a continuing. I think that people are going to continue to demonstrate, and they're going to do it because the conditions are going to.
All right, very well. That's it with our rolling coverage for now. Let me thank my guest, Mr. Conn Hallinan. He's a columnist from Foreign Policy in Focus. Gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for contributing to the program here.